Now we are going to discuss the last part. So in the last part, this is the last part for the question discussion for Splunk admin certification as Splunk-1003. Now let's start. 101. A configuration file in a deployed apps needs to be directly edited. Which steps would ensure a successful deployment to clients? And here are the possible options, and the right answer is option C. Question number 102. This file has been manually created on a universal forwarder /opt/splunk forwarder /etc/my_ta/local/inputs.conf, and here are the stanzas. Source type equals to syslog, index equals to syslog. A new Splunk admin comes in and connects the universal forwarders to a deployment server and deploys the same app with the new inputs.conf file, and here are the same location and the same stanza and the setup. And the question is, which file is now be monitored? So option A /var/log/message, option B /var/log/mail log, option C /var log mail log and var log message, D none of the above. So always the precedence is deployment -apps have a higher precedence, so the answer is var/log/mail log, so that the answer is option B. So in question number 103, an add-on has a configured field aliases for source IP address and destination IP address field. Or specific user prefers not to have those fields present in their user context based on the default props.conf below, which Splunk_home/etc/user/buttercup/myta/local/props.conf stanza can be added to the user's local context to disable the field aliases. And here is your setup. And these are the possible options, and the correct answer is option B. Question number 104. What is the command to reset the fish bucket for one source? So option A rm-r splunk forwarder var leave splunk fish bucket, option B splunk clean event data -index fish bucket, option C splunk cmd btprop -d splunk home var leave splunk fish bucket splunk private db file reset, option D splunk btool fish bucket reset, and the answer is option C. Question number 5. Which Splunk component would 1 use to perform line breaking prior to indexing? Option A heavy forwarder, option B universal forwarder, option C search head, option D this can only be done at the indexing layer, and the answer is option A heavy forwarder. Question number 106. The following stanza is active in indexes.conf. Max hot span sec equals to 3600, frozen time period in second equals to 2630000, max total data size MB equals to 650000. All other related indexes.conf setting are default values. If the event timestamp was 3739283 seconds ago, will it be searchable? The possible options are option A yes, only if the bucket is still hot, option B no, because the index will have exceeded its maximum size, option C yes, only if the index size is also below 650000 MB, option D no, because the event time is greater than the retention time, and the answer is option D no, because the event time is greater than the retention time. Question number 107. Load balancing on a universal forwarder is not scaling correctly. The forwarder's outputs.conf and the TCP out stanza are set up correctly. What else could be the cause of scaling issue? Choose all that apply. Option A, the index and forward value is not set properly. Option B, the DNS record used is not set up with a valid list of IP address. Option C, the inputs.conf_syslog_routing is not set up to use the right group names. Option D, the receiving port is not properly set up to the listen right port. And the answer is option B and option D. Option B, the DNS record used is not set up with a valid list of IP address, and option D, the receiving port is not properly set up to listen on the right port. Question number 108. A universal forwarder is collecting two separate sources of data. Source A is being routed through a heavy forwarder and then to an indexer. Source B is being routed directly to the indexer. Both sets of data require the masking of raw text string before being returned to disk. What does the administrator need to do to ensure that the masking takes place successfully? Option A, make sure that props.conf and transform.conf are both present on the indexer and the source head. Option B, for source A, make sure that props.conf is in place on the indexer, and for source B, make sure transforms.conf is present on the heavy forwarder. Option C, make sure that props.conf and transform.conf are both present on the universal forwarder. Option D, place both props.conf and transform.conf on the heavy forwarder for source A and place both props.conf and transform.conf on the indexer for source B, and the answer is option D. Question number 109. When using license pool, volume allocations apply to which Splunk component? Option A, indexers. Option B, indexes. Option C, heavy forwarders. Option D, search heads. And the answer is option A, indexers. Question number 110. The following stanza in inputs.conf are currently being used by deployment client this connection host DNS source type syslog. Which of the following statements is true of the data is received via this input? Option A, if Splunk is restarted, data will be queued and then sent when Splunk has restarted. Option B, local firewall ports do not need to be opened on the deployment client since the port is defined in inputs.conf. Option C, the host value associated with the data received will be the IP address that sent the data. Option D, if Splunk is restarted, data may be lost. And the answer is option D, if Splunk is restarted, data may be lost. Question number 111. Which Splunk configuration file is used to enable data integrity checking? There are the options and the answer. Option A, props.conf. Option B, global.conf. Option C, indexes.conf. Option D, data_integrity.conf, and the answer is option C, indexes.conf. Question number 112. When should the data preview feature be used? Option A, when extracting fields for ingested data. Option B, when previewing the data before searching. Option C, when reviewing data on the source host. Option D, when validating the parsing of data, and the answer is option D, when validating the parsing of data. Question number 113. Assume a file is being monitored and the data was incorrectly indexed to an exclusive index. The index is clean and now the data must be re-indexed. What other index must be clean to reset the input checkpoint information for that file? Option A, audit. Option B, checkpoint. Option C, introspection. Option D, the fish bucket. And the answer is option D, the fish bucket. What happens when the same username exists in Splunk as well as through LDAP? Option A, Splunk user is automatically deleted from authentication.conf. Option B, LDAP settings take precedence. Option C, Splunk setting take precedence. Option D, LDAP user is automatically deleted from authentication.conf, and the answer is option C, Splunk setting takes precedence. Question number 115. Which configuration file would be used to forward the Splunk internal logs from a source head to the indexer? Option A, props.conf. Option B, inputs.conf. Option C, outputs.conf. Option D, collection.conf, and the answer is option C, outputs.conf. Question number 116. The CLI command Splunk add forward server indexer this in which configuration file? Option A, inputs.conf. Option B, index.conf. Option C, outputs.conf. Option D, servers.conf, and the answer is outputs.conf. Question number 117. What are the license file stored? These are the possible options, and the answer is option C, Splunk home/etc/licenses. Question number 118. In which data pipeline phase is the last opportunity for defining event boundaries? Option A, input phase. Option B, indexing phase. Option C, parsing phase. Option D, search phase, and the answer is option C, parsing phase. 119. Which of the following is an appropriate description of a deployment server in a non-cluster environment? Here are the possible options. You can pause and you can select first the answer, you can guess the answer, and the answer is option B. Allows management of remote Splunk instance, require enterprise license, handle job of sending configuration, can automatically restart remote Splunk instances. Question number 120. A Splunk administrator has been tasked with developing a retention strategy to have frequently accessed data sets on SSD storage and to have older, less frequently accessed data on slower NAS storage. They have set a mount point for the NAS. Which parameter do they need to modify to set the path for the older, less frequently accessed data in indexes.conf? Here are the possible options, and the answer is option B, cold path. Question number 121. All source time failure extractions should be specified on which Splunk component? Option A, deployment server, option B, universal forwarder, option C, indexer, option D, search head, and the possible answer is option D, search head. Question number 122. Using sedmon in props.conf allows raw data to be modified with the given event below. Which option will match the first 3 digits in the account ID field resulting output these? And there are the possible options, and the answer is option D. So in the sedmon, it is always start from yes, and it is always in with the 1/G. So question number 123. Local user account created in Splunk store password in which file? And these are the possible option, and answer is option A, Splunk home etc passwd. Question number 124. When configuring HTTP event collector HEC input, how would one ensure the event have been indexed? Option A, enable. These are the possible options, and the answer is option A, enable indexer acknowledgement. Question number 125. When Splunk is integrated with LDAP group, which attribute can be changed in the Splunk UI for the LDAP user? Here are the possible options, and answer is option A, default app. Question number 126. How can native authentication be disabled in Splunk? Here are the possible options, and the possible right answer is option B, create an empty Splunk home /etc/passwd file. Question number 127. After how many warnings within a rolling 30-day period will a license violation occur with an enforced enterprise license? And the answer is option D, 5. Question number 128. Which authentication method are natively supported within the Splunk enterprises? And the answer are A, B, C. And question number 129. A, B, C means option A, LDAP, option B, SML, option C, radius. Question number 129. Which of the following method will connect the deployment client to the deployment server? Here are the possible options, and the answer are option C and D. Option C, create and edit the deployment client.conf file in a Splunk home /etc/system/local on the deployment client. Option D, run Splunk/home/bin/Splunk set deploy-pool from the command line of the deployment client. Question number 130. Which of the following describes a Splunk deployment server? Here are the possible options, and answer is option C, a Splunk enterprise server that distributes apps. Question number 131. What happens when there are conflicting settings within the 2 or more configuration file? Here are the possible options, and the answer is the option D, the setting with the highest precedence is used. Question number 132. In this example, if use act is set to true and the max queue size is set to 7 MB, what is the size of the wait queue on the universal forwarder? Option A, option B, option C, and option D. Option A, 21 MB, option B, 28 MB, option C, 14 MB, option D, 7 MB. Answer is option A, 21 MB. Question number 133. After automatic load balancing is enabled on a forwarder, the time interval for switching indexer can be updated by using which of the following attributes? Here are the possible options, and the answer is option C, auto LVF frequency. Question number 134. How is data handled by Splunk during the input phase of the data ingestion process? Here are the possible options, and the answer is option A, data is treated as a streams. Question number 135. Social security numbers data is found in logs events which is against company policy. SSN format is as follows. Which configuration file and instance peer will max possible SSN in the log events? Here are the possible answer, and the answer and the correct answer is option C, sorry, option D, transform.conf, and this is the pattern. Okay, now another question. So the option C and option D are looking like the same, but in the option C we must put it here in a like just key, not a dest key, so that the answer is always the dest key equals to raw, and here are all the other things are looking like the same. Now next, question number 136, which of the following indexes come pre-configured with Splunk Enterprise? Here are the possible option, and answer is option B and option D, internal and the fish bucket. Question number 137, what is the correct example to redact the plain text forward password from raw events? Here are the possible option, and the correct answer is option C. Thank you.